Hey, Chris from the Mighty Decibel here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be doing part two of our top 20 consecutive album streaks today. If you haven't seen part one, go back and revisit that one right now, where we looked at places 11 to 20 of our consecutive album streaks. And in that episode, all the bands had three consecutive albums where they had at least two tens and one nine. Actually, in 20th place, they had two nines and one ten. But generally, it was two tens and one nine. Whereas today's episode, placements 1 to 10, all these bands had at least three 10 out of 10 classic perfect albums in a row. Not easy to attain, as you can imagine. So, of course, this is my personal opinion, and everybody's scoring is different. So I'm sure there's going to be some raised eyebrows again about the inclusions and exclusions, but what the hell, let's have some fun here. So let's move on. Landing at number 10 is Pasadena, California's Van Halen, with their first three albums issued between 1978 and 1980. So, of course, the self-titled debut is most likely in your record collection if you're a metalhead, and it introduced the world to David Lee Roth and the guitar wizardry of Eddie Van Halen. That being said, though, personally, I prefer the next two albums more, that being Van Halen 2 and Women and Children First. I just find that they make it onto my death deck more often than the debut. But regardless, this is a legendary streak of albums that deserves to be on our list.
Chances with a crash and burn. And there is a way of beauty, but you never get love. Cross the line with none return. I watch my television, almost lost my mind. It said, open your eyes, leave it all behind. I am the wind, the whiskey.
Coming in at number 9 is Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush with their trio of albums between 1979 and 81. So the main calling card for any Marino or Mahogany Rush album is the guitar work from Frank Marino, who I consider the greatest axeman of all time. However, some of you hard rockers out there would maybe put out because much of his earlier material and later is a little bit too psychedelic, jazzy, progressive. However, during 79 and 81, these are the three albums that you should check out if you're a hard rocker and haven't listened to Frank Marino. So 1979's Tales of the Unexpected can be called the bridge record, in that the first side still delves in the psychedelic jazzy stuff, and it's in studio, but some of his better work of that type. But then side 2 was recorded live, and it's all hard-hitting, hard rock stuff here with amazing guitar solos. But then the two albums that follow that, What's Next and The Power of Rock and Roll, these are straight up hard rock albums, pull no punches, and then what I believe to be the best soloing of Marino's career here on those two albums, an amazing 3-album run. Some thrash for you at number 8, one of the Teutonic Big Four. that being Creator with their trio of albums between 86 and 89. First up is the sophomore Pleasure to Kill, a brutal and raw classic that every thrash metal fan has to have. Includes the classics such as Riot of Violence, Under the Guillotine, and the title track, Forever Denting Our Heads. Things get somewhat more polished on the two follow-ups, Terrible Certainty and Extreme Aggression. But still, it makes the US thrashers out there shaking their boots in comparison. Classic stuff. Our only punk entrant in the top 20 comes in at number 7. It's Flogging Molly with a trio of albums between 2000 and 2004. So for those not in the know, Flogging Molly is led by ex-Fastway singer Dave King, so there's some heavy metal tie-in there for you. So the band play an infectious brand of Celtic punk that utilizes banjo, tin fiddle, harmonica, accordion, along with your typical bass drums, guitar setup. And all of these three albums, Swagger, Drunken Lullabies, and Within a Mile of Home, are just chock full of high energy, fun time ditties, along with some tearjerker stuff as well. Some of my fave concert experiences were being in the pit for Flogging Molly concerts. Perfect beer drinking music here. Mighty Motorhead claimed a number 6 spot on our list with 3 albums in 2 years. So we got Overkill and Bomber from 1979 and Ace of Spades from 1980. So I'm sure everybody's nodding along going, yep, about Overkill and Ace, but maybe questioning Bomber. I would disagree. In fact, I put Bomber shoulder to shoulder with Ace and consider it even better than Overkill. So regardless, everybody out there who considers themselves a fan of extreme metal should have these 3 albums, considering its impact on a number of extreme subgenres. Boston's infamous Aerosmith stumbled forth between 76 and 79 with 3 albums that claimed a number 5 spot on our list here. First one being Rocks, followed then by Draw the Line, and then Night in the Ruts. So most Aerosmith fans point to Rocks as the classic. I agree, it's a great album. But I prefer Draw the Line myself. I think it is a better batch of tracks, and it has the band's best guitar work. And then Night in the Ruts, I would put on par with Rocks as well. Again, showcasing some great guitar work there from Perry and Whitford. Slayer came out of the gate real fast with 3 albums between 83 and 86 that takes the number 4 slot on our list. So the debut Show No Mercy, I always considered to be a speed thrash hybrid album containing some of the most catchy material. In fact, that's the album I play the most from the band. Then the sophomore Hell Awaits followed up that got focused on some complex riffery, jettisoned speed, and was total thrash, almost progressive thrash. And then the third, Rain and Blood, is widely considered the holy grail of thrash metal. So I saw the band on the live on the Rain and Blood tour, and I can tell you, I was fearful for my life there in the pit. I'm surprised I got out of there without spilling any blood.
Hatred the skies and blind. Death the show, and future blind. While if does not bleed there. Faces confused, await the moment. The mouth is sure to be sight. Cover the groups of all mankind. We're coming up, be gone. So this is mine. This is death. I took the life. Malicious world. Christian you, try to fade. The sabotage, the continent.
We're down to the top 3 consecutive album streaks now. And at number 3, we have a band that strung together 4 consecutive 10 out of 10s. And that being Black Sabbath for their albums between 1980 and 86. So the first 2, Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, of course, were the Dio version of the band, which basically resuscitated the band's career. And that was followed by Ian Gillan on the Born Again album, which has been gaining traction and more fans as time has gone on. Albeit I loved this album right from the beginning because I thought it just returned their sound to the blubbering 70s, which I absolutely loved. But surprisingly to some, I'm extending it to 4 albums in a row with the inclusion of Seventh Star. So it's an atypical record to be sure, given that they use Glenn Hughes at the mic, and the song structures are more melodic. But I've always loved this album, thinking it's eminently listenable.
She came from the past. She was never meant to last. Her destiny was
return to the 70s now for our number 2 entrant. And it's the only band that appears twice on our list of 20, and that being Black Sabbath yet again. So things heated up in the Sabbath camp after the overrated Paranoid. Yes, I said it. It ain't a 10 out of 10. With the doom-laden Master of Reality. And then they followed that up with my fave, Sabbath Platter, Volume 4. And then that was succeeded by the more adventurous Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And then we were bruised and bludgeoned by the Sabotage, which completes our 4-pack here. So this was all done despite wallowing in drug and booze excess. One top consecutive streak, and it's for a band that put together unbelievably 6 classic 10 out of 10 albums in a row. I'm sure most of you already figured it out. It's Judas Priest. So we start with Sad Wings of Destiny, which is basically a reset of the heavy metal rule book, no less. And then that was followed by the technical wizardry of Sin After Sin and Stained Class. Then there was Killing Machine, or Hellbent for Leather, depending where you're coming from, which is seen as a bridge record that introduced some traditional songwriting into the mix. And that was followed by British Steel, the big commercial coming out for the band that finished the conversion. And then after that was the somewhat maligned Point of Entry, which I am including here in our as our 6th album in a row. Some, stating that it was too poppy, but I don't care. Poppy or not, this is just great stuff, especially deep album cuts. You can go here all day long, just a perfect album. Now, some might raise their eyebrows that I didn't include this to 7 albums straight because I'm not including Screaming for Vengeance. But I'm sorry, take a look. There's 3 or 4 below par songs on an album that you can't rightfully call Screaming for Vengeance a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. But regardless, 6 perfect albums in a row, nobody can top that. So there you have it. Judas Priest tops our list of top consecutive album streaks. And thanks for watching. And remember to check in on Monday for our new release Monday podcast video. This next episode, we're going to be looking at hard and heavy releases from February and March 2021. And check out our website, www.themightydecibel.com. Have a great one. Bye.